Hello everyone, this is Sunny, and I'm coming to you with Can You Teach Me How to Smile Again, an Eyeless Jack X Reader by RoseBlue26. I'm going to be starting off with Chapter 7, Lion's POV. After the stitching, Jack gave me his gray shirt as my old one was torn and soaked with blood. He told me to make sure to go easy on the shoulder and take a good rest before he went out for his mission, leaving me with Sally. Sally dragged me to her room. It was full of pink. Every corner you saw was filled with the color pink. You must be tired. You can stay in my room first. I'm going to go find something for you to eat. You haven't eaten breakfast yet, right? She asked. I nodded and ruffled her hair a bit. Thank you, Sally. She just beamed and walked out of the room to the kitchen, I assumed. Just a few minutes later, she brings back a stack of pancakes with maple syrup and a glass of orange juice. I helped her with the tray and put it on the table. Did you make this? I asked before she shakes her head a little bit. No, Toby was making some for himself, so I just asked him to make some for me. I didn't say it was for you, since Jack said to not tell anyone you were out from the basement for a while, she said, grinning. Yeah, I'm gonna need to go back down there before lunchtime, or we're gonna be in big trouble. Come eat with me, I said, motioning her to come sit with me to eat the pancakes. She giggles and sits in my lap, and we just ate the pancakes in complete peaceful silence. After we finished the whole pancakes, I got a bit sleepy, probably due to the medicine Jack gave me. Looking at the time, it's still early before the next mealtime. Maybe a little nap won't do any harm, right? I don't want to go back to the basement yet and sleep there, because the blood stain is still there, and I'm too lazy to clean it now. So we both took a nap in Sally's room. Time skipped to lunchtime. Maskey's POV. I have heard from Sunderman that we have a guest in the cell and we have to take turns to bringing the food to her. Today, lunch is my duty since Jack is out for his mission. As I prepared the tray of food, I went to the key cabinet near the living room to take the key off the cell. It's not here. Hey, Ben, who was the last one who took the cell key? I asked Ben, who was too engrossed in playing the game in the living room. Without looking back, he just replied with a simple Jeff. What? Are you looking for me? Jeff said as he walked down the stairs. Were you the last one to bring the food to the cell? He just nodded. Where did you put the key then? It's already lunchtime and Jack is out, so I need to fill in for him, I said to him. I put it back in there, duh, he said, pointing to the cabinet. No, it was not there. That's why I asked, I said, crossing my arms. What? I know I put it in the... He said as he walked to the cabinet. Oh, shit, he said as he ran past me towards the basement. What happened? Ben asked, coming out from the living room. I also don't know. He just ran after he checked for the key, I said, shrugging. Both of us went to the basement and saw the door was wide open. Jeff was pacing back and forth in front of the door. What's wrong? Oh, fuck, Ben said as he peeked into the cell. What happened, Jeff? Where is she, and why is there a blood stain there? I asked him. I don't know. I was mad, then I stabbed her in the shoulder, and then I went back to my room, and now she's gone, Jeff said while still pacing around. You just gave him a ticket out, bro. You forgot to lock back and leave the key in the keyhole? You're dead meat if Sunder finds out. All of us in the house will die if Sunder finds out, Ben said with a horrified look. All three of us gulped in unison, thinking of the punishment. Just then we heard a static voice from the end of the stairs of the basement. Find out about what? We all looked up and saw Slenderman crossing his arms waiting for our answers. Well, speak up, what happened? Why are all of you standing there with the door opened? Slender asked again, getting impatient. Well, Jeff forgot to lock the door, and now Ian is gone, I said slowly while glancing at both Jeff and Ben. She's what? Slender shouted and made a strong static that made our heads hurt. Gather everyone now, find her and bring her back now, before teleporting away from the stairway. Fuck, Jeff whined, and we all walked out of the basement and went to find everyone left in the mansion except Sally. Since Slender seems to not want Sally to get too much involved with Wyan, we only managed to form 2 teams of 3 people. Me, Hoodie, and Toby, Jeff, Ben, and LJ. We went into the forest in a different direction to cover more ground, and I really had hoped that Rake didn't get to her first, or we were really going to be dead in the hand of Slender. Time skipped to 6:30 p.m. Mayan's POV. I woke up and found myself in a room filled with pink. I felt a small hand clinging onto my shirt, and looking at it, I saw Sally was sleeping, cuddling her teddy bear in one hand and the other, holding onto my shirt like I was going to disappear. And slowly I woke her up, wondering what time it was by now. I've got to get back to the basement, I thought. Sally, hey, Sally, wake up. She opened her eyes and smiled sleepily. Good morning, big sis, she said, burying her face in my chest. Come on now, I need to get back to the basement. What time is it anyway? I said as I was looking around for a clock, and then it hit me hard. On the wall was this cat-like clock showing it's already 6:30 p.m. It's already past lunchtime. Oh no, Sally said as she also noticed the time by now. We better get going now, I said as we scrambled out of the bed carefully as to not reopen the stitches on my shoulder. Sally opened her door and peeked out to see if it was clear, and we walked to the living room, still not seeing anyone at all, not even a sound. That's weird. I wonder if they have found out that I'm gone. Where is everyone? Sally asked, breaking the awkward silence. I also don't know. Well, I better get back into the cell. I need to lock it back, okay? She just nodded and followed me to the cell and did as I told. Time skipped the 10 p.m. I had waited for hours now, and there was still no one coming into the cell yet. I guess they were out searching if I were to escape. I've already cleaned up the bloodstain that left in the room as I was bored doing nothing anyway. And then I heard little footsteps climbing down the stairs, the little sobbing, and heard the door being unlocked. I got up from the bed and looked at the door opening slightly, revealing a crying Sally hugging Charlie on the other hand. I went to hug her. What's wrong, sweetheart? Why are you crying and why are you here? I asked her while wiping away her tears. I was hungry and the others still haven't come back yet. Even Slindy's not here, she said in between her sobs. What time is it now? I asked her. It's already 10 p.m., she said, calming down a little. How could they leave her unattended? She just is 5 years old and they just leave her alone till night? Sighing, I nodded and walked out of the basement. Don't cry, okay? I'm here, so now let's go cook something to eat, alright? Will you help me? I tried cheering her up. She wiped away the excess tears and nodded vigorously before skipping happily. Let's see, what do we have here? We've got rice, carrots, potatoes, and some chicken. How about curry rice for dinner? I asked Sally, who was standing beside me. Is it good? I've never had curry rice before, she said while tilting her head. Well, it depends on who's the one cooking, if you want to know if the food tastes good or not, I said, smiling a bit at how Sally giggled. Okay, now let's get to cooking, I announced. That is the end of that chapter. The chapter after this one is chapter 8, starting off with Sally's POV. I was helping Big Sis cooking while Charlie's sitting on the dining table watching us. And done, she announced to us. She also made extra for the others in case they come back from wherever they went. She ushered me to go take a seat at the table first, and she brought one plate of the curry rice for me. Yay, I'm hungry, I said as I grabbed my spoon to dig in. It was so delicious, more delicious than Slendy's cooking. She just sat down beside me and watched me eat it. It's so yummy. Aren't you going to eat, Big Sis? You still haven't eaten for dinner. She just shook her head. Nah, I'm fine. Just eat up, okay? She said, patting my head. Okay, I said as I continued to eat. Just then I saw Big Sis suddenly tense up and look behind me. And I looked to where she was looking, and then we saw Slendy with his tentacles whipping behind him and his hands across his chest. We both still glanced to each other before looking back at Slendy. Oh dear, Slendy's angry. Very, very angry. Ryan's POV. As I was watching Sally eating her dinner, suddenly I felt the atmosphere change a bit. This feeling is kind of familiar, I mumbled to myself. I searched for the source, and then my eyes landed on a tall figure wearing a black suit in the kitchen doorway. Slender Man. Oh shit. Sally seems to notice a tense atmosphere looking to the same direction, and there we saw Slender Man crossing his hands across his chest, and 4 tentacles just came out from his back, whipping back and forth. We both look at each other before looking back at the angry Slender Man. What's the meaning of this? Where have you been? His voice echoed through the kitchen. I didn't go anywhere. I swear. I was in the mansion all along. I didn't even take a step outside, if that's what you're wondering. I said as calmly as possible, not to make him get even more mad. You were in the mansion this whole time, he asked, and I just nodded. His tentacles on his back disappeared. I guess that means he's now a bit calm. I'm sorry, Cindy. It was me who brought her out. I know you said not to go to the basement, but I was curious and worried about Big Sis. I mean, why in? After I saw Jeff walk out of the basement door with a blood stain on his hoodie. Sally explained. Slenderman was frowning. I guess from his action of pinching to where his bridged nose should be if he had one inside. Can you kindly explain to me what exactly happened from the beginning? He asked while taking a seat on the dining table. I nodded and started to explain from where this Jeff bringing me the breakfast. Time skip after some explanation. I was already in my cell, and then Sally here was hungry, so I cooked some dinner, and I made extra just in case you and the others haven't eaten yet. Sorry for using the kitchen without your permission, I said, motioning to the pots on the stove. He sighed after hearing my story. I know I couldn't trust Jeff, but may I ask, why didn't you escape when you had the chance? I shrugged, not knowing the exact answer for that. I don't know. I just didn't feel like I should. Besides, Jack said this mansion is full of killers, so I don't think that I could really escape anyway. Sally, who just cleaned up her plate, suddenly tugged my shirt. Big Sis, can I have some more, please? She said shyly. I nodded and took her plate for second serves. Do you want some curry rice, Mr. Slenderman? I asked, trying to be polite. Yes, I would like to have some. Thank you, my child, and you don't need to be formal with me. You can just call me Slender, or Slender replied. When suddenly Sally cut him off by saying, Or Slendy, she said, giggling. Slenderman chuckled. Or that, whichever you are comfortable with, all right. I nodded and hummed for a while as to think what I should pick, and I nodded the second time and said, all right, I guess I'll go with Sunday then, while preparing the plate for Slendy and Sally. I just realized that he just called me my child, right? Or did that just slip out of the tongue? I just shrugged it off and take the plate filled with curry for them, and once I put it in front of Sally, she quickly chowed down the meal. I guess you really must have liked it. This is great. You're a good cook, huh? Aren't you eating too, Ryan? Go on and take a plate. Here, we're practicing eating together. But tonight, the others will eat late due to their incompetence of taking care of you, he said. I just nodded and prepared a plate for myself, and after we're done with our meals, Sunday insisted on doing the dishes since I have done the cooking. Sunday, can I, go outside for a bit? Don't worry, I won't run away. I just want to get some fresh air and look at the stars, I asked sheepishly. He hummed and finally said, all right, but make sure you're not to get near the forest. I don't want the rake to have you for dinner. Once I'm done here, I'm going to go to the others and ask them to come back here, so be careful when I'm not here, okay? He said with a tone of worry. Okay, I promised. Sally, do you want to join me? I said. She nodded and we went out from the back door, and we just laid down on the grass and looked at the stars. It's peaceful. It's peaceful here, despite the mansion housing and who knows how many serial killers. EJ's POV. Finally done with the mission, I wonder how it was going in the mansion. I hope Wyan got back into the cell before anyone else noticed she was missing. As I was walking in the woods, I sensed something is watching me in the dark, and I stopped in my tracks and listened around my area. I could sense 3 people in the same area. Who are they? Are they intruders? Suddenly, one of them lunged towards me from behind, and I quickly dodged him and bring out my scalpel. Then through the moonlight, I saw my attacker. Toby? What the heck, man? You scared the shit out of me, I said, dropping my attack stance. Jack? Well, you scared the shit out of me, he said in between his ticks. Toby, I told you to hold it while we confirm who it was, said Masky, who came out from behind the tree with Hoodie by his side. Hoodie just waved at me. What are you guys doing here anyway? Is there an intruder in the forest? I asked curiously as to why they were keeping an eye on the forest perimeter late at night. Well, actually, there is no intruders from outside. We're looking for YN. She ran away from Jeff when he forgot to lock back the cell door, Masky explained. I blinked behind my mask as to process what he just said. Wait. How long has she been gone? And did any of you meet Sally during this time of YN going missing? I said, trying to confirm my guess. It was during lunchtime, and you weren't around, so I was going to fill in for your task, and we found out that Jeff forgot to lock it, and she already wasn't in the cell, and as for Sally, now that you mention it, I don't think we met Sally after breakfast, Masky said, tilting his head. I met her after breakfast. She asked me to make some pancakes, but she didn't eat it in the kitchen, Toby interjected, shrugging. I should have thought this would have happened, I said, sighing. Lion didn't run away. Sally probably took her to play with her or something. Because the last time I left them, Lion was under medicine, so she won't be able to walk far. I said explaining the whole story on the way to the mansion. That is the end of those 2 chapters. The chapter after that one is chapter 9, sorry. It starts off with Jeff's POV. I do apologize for my stuttering. I mean, trying to do stuttering for Toby's thing is interesting because when I'm trying to do it, I can't. But you know, when I'm trying to just normally read, it doesn't make sense to me when I'm trying to read these. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy those, and hopefully I can try to get another video out sooner than this. I've been wanting to record, but it's just been a bit of a mess. But I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll be uploading tomorrow when I get home after work. But until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!